Okay, well, we got the battery bank all hooked up here. It's in the 12-volt configuration, and I've got it hooked up to the solar charge controller. My solar panel is in place, and unfortunately, and I kind of thought that this would happen, the flashing light and that little symbol below the dead battery means that there's an error, and that is because when I first plugged it in, it did work, and then the charge controller is actually sucking enough power out of it that it now can't find it, basically. So now I need to bring the bank up enough to get rid of that, and I think I can do it in just a matter of moments. I've got my all my connections made. I got the power supply on. I've got it hooked up to the iMax B6 here. And let's go ahead and just start this. I've got it set pretty high. As you can see, it says 6 amps there on the left. And I've got it set for a 3S pack, 11.1 volts. So let's go ahead and start it. It checks it out to make sure there's no issues, and there is no issues. So let's go ahead and start that. Alrighty, so now it's moving it up. Okay, well, let's look at this. There we go, 10.9 already. I don't want to charge it too much, but I need to... See, look at that, it's just flying. It's just filling that battery up. That's too much, actually. There we go, now the little symbol went away. Let's turn the load off. Now let's disconnect the iMax. That is shut off. Let's turn our power off to that. And let that thing die away. And there we are. We are 9.8 volts, see, but it's actually sucking it down, unfortunately. And the sun is not up yet, so I'm getting no solar. So I'm going to need to disconnect this thing and come back to it when the sun is up, because otherwise it's going to run my battery back down. And then I'll get the error message. So let's go ahead and just pull that away and come back when we got some nice sunshine outside. Alright, it's been about 35 or 40 minutes and we're finally starting to get some sunshine. Solar panels here in the window, one half of the window. You can look out there and see there's a little bit of sun. Just broke over the mountains to the east. I've also got a meter here, and I don't have my glasses on, but it looks like it says 740, 50, 60, something like that. It's nowhere near enough to begin charging a 12-volt battery. This panel should get up to around 20 volts maximum, and all I really need is about 14 to be able to charge a 12-volt battery. I've got a meter here. This is another inline meter. This is measuring the solar panel. I cannot read that because I don't know where my glasses are right now. They're somewhere around here. But this just came on. This is actually stealing power from the panel, so I will connect up that little 12-volt auxiliary battery to it, because it takes about 4 volts to run that. Believe it or not, it actually gives me a lot of information. So we're still a ways away from solar charging. Alrighty. Say 6:20 after 6 in the morning. Here, the sun has actually been up for quite a while and sure is blinding. But I got obstacles in my way, namely neighbors. So let's go have a look at the panel. So as you can see, I'm getting sun on right next to the panel, but the panel itself is getting nothing yet. But it's not very far away. And yeah, it would definitely work better if it was mounted outside, but I don't really have that option here, unfortunately. So let's look and see what our inline little voltmeter says. 7.27. It's really jumping there, that's for sure. So what we can do is connect up our little 12-volt auxiliary battery here. I made this probably a whole year ago, and it's in pretty good shape. And I made it specifically to operate this particular meter. So we plug that little meter in, 12.2 volts, that's doing good. Let's see here. Plug that in. Plug that in. So now this meter has power. Alright, about 10 minutes later, and we're finally starting to teeter with 14 volts. Anything over 12 will charge, but the more voltage you have, the better. So let's go ahead and connect this up. There we go. Charge controller. You always have to turn the load off manually. It just defaults that way. Alrighty, so we're showing 9.7 volts. In the middle is the very dead battery. And on the left side is a picture of a little solar panel and the sun. And that means, and there's an arrow pointing towards the battery. So that means we're charging. Alrighty, 9.7 volts. Let this go for a couple hours and see what we get. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes or so, and I can tell from the inside here that the panel is in full sun right now. And I am getting over an amp there on the top left. Over a watt hour, amp hour. It's a couple of different readings there. Already up to 10.83 volts, and it's putting about 12 watts into the bank here. So according to the charge controller, the bank or the battery is still quite dead, but we'll get it up there some. That's all I wanted to do. Nothing's getting hot there. Lithium batteries tend to get really hot when they charge and even discharge, but these are just fine.